Sound check. Ah, geht. Alright, so you might be wondering whether you tuned into the wrong channel, because this is not X-Plane, clearly. No, it is still me. I've had a long day of flying today. The weather outside is quite nasty. We had some good landings in marginal VFR, some rain, some wind. We actually have a storm warning for tomorrow. Autumn is coming, clearly. It's gotten quite cold. We have a cold front moving through. And yeah, and I felt today, today's weather is less conducive to flying and more to going by train, actually. So yeah, I set up a new Windows computer this week. And I took the opportunity of having a new Windows installation to yeah, reinstall Zusi, the train simulator. And yeah, here goes nothing. A pilot tries to drive a train. So I've actually been using Zusi, or the previous version. This is version 3. And I've actually been using even the version before that a little bit, a couple of years ago. So I know the basics of how this works, and I think it's quite fascinating. The train simulator is actually in some ways more logical to have than a flight simulator, right? Because you can get your private pilot's license and start flying small aircraft on your own pretty easily. After like 40-50 hours of training, you can be flying an aircraft. But driving a train is not something you usually get to do, right? There's no such thing as a private locomotive license you could get. So yeah, train simulator is the closest thing any of us can get to driving a train, and that's why I, as a real-world pilot, find this quite fascinating. And it's interesting to see the developments, because Zusi 3 is in a kind of way a little bit like X-Plane, because it started by just one person in their basement writing their own simulator. So just like X-Plane started 20 years ago, or 22 years ago by now. So 22 years ago it was just Austin making his own simulator, and it took another 10 years until Ben came on board, and we got global scenery and everything. And Zusi 3, so this version of the train simulator here is kind of like I don't know, X-Plane 9, I guess, when global scenery was starting. Austin was no longer doing everything alone. Austin was no longer doing everything by himself, and I think the train simulator Zug Simulator version 3 is comparable to that, because it has just outgrown this one man writing the software in his basement stage, and gaining a broader community. All right, yeah. So what I want to do here is make a complete idiot out of myself, a pilot trying to drive a train. I've set the simulator up to get us on the latest and greatest and fastest German train we have, the Intercity Express 3rd generation train. No, it's actually not the latest and greatest. We have the 4th generation by now. Yeah, so this is the fastest way to get around Germany. So if you ever heard of the Autobahn, forget it. Going by train is much, much faster, because this train tops out at 300 kilometers an hour, which is something like, I don't know, 170 miles, I guess. So jokingly, I refer to, well, not jokingly, but if I go by train and take the ICE 3 somewhere, it actually has a faster ground speed than a 172. Yeah, so now what we need to do is, it says the train starts at 4:10 and it's 4:03 now. Let's see if we can use a little bit of time compression to get there. Yeah, look at that. That's the time compression. By the way, this little display I put down here, this is kind of an add-on to the simulator. This is like the 2D panel software that they have. It's similar to flight simulation in a way. Yeah, they have 2D panel home cockpit software just like we do. And this is an example of the Buchfahrplan display. Oh my god, how to translate that? I know most of the terms in German, but of course not in English. So what it displays you is the route you're going to take, the speeds for every part of the route, and the time you need to be at a certain point, and then when you can leave a station. So we're coming up on 4:10, and that should put our train on the tracks and get us started, I think. Let's see. So you can see there's other stuff happening. Ah, look at that! We boarded the train. Look at that. Yeah, so this is the cab layout that we have been using in Germany for like the last 40 years or so, I think, with the 3 or 4 lever setup that you can see here. I'm not sure if my mouse is showing on the stream. Yeah, I guess it is. So on the far left you have the speed selector for, well, it's comparable to cruise control, I would say. Automatische Fahr-Bremssteuerung, AFB. So basically you set the maximum speed you will be going with this one, and the next one is Zugkraftsteller. This is the one where you select how much traction you want the motors to put out, how much traction force you set. And on the right, so in the middle here, this is just the free area where they put all their paperwork and stuff. And then on the right here we have the selector for the brakes. And some other locomotives have actually 2 levers here on the right side, one for the pneumatic brakes and one for the engine, not engine braking, but the electric recovery braking. Yeah, like a Tesla. If you let go of the accelerator on a Tesla, it goes into engine braking mode, where the motor acts as a generator, generates electricity, and in a Tesla it drives it puts the electricity back into the battery, and the trains kind of do the same thing, where they recuperate electricity and send it back to the Fahrdraht, to this wire up here that gives you 15,000 volts. Yeah, and over here we have the indication that we have 15,000 volts on the wire, and here will be the amperage. So if we are drawing current, that will come up here. This tells us how much traction we are getting, so how much tractive force we're getting out of the motors. So on the right is to go faster, on the left is to go slower. This one we will see later. This of course is the speedometer, and over here we have all the things that are to do with braking. Yeah, now what we're waiting for is the signal is red, of course, right now, because we still have, I don't know, a couple of minutes to go, and then that will hopefully turn green, and we can we can depart. Yeah, we have a couple of other switches here. This one selects the doors, so I guess right now we should have the left doors open because the left side is where the passengers would step in, I guess. Yeah, and then we can see here that we can depart here with a maximum speed of 120 kilometers an hour, and then at this mileage it drops down to 100, then comes back up to 120. So for all intents and purposes, our maximum speed until we get up here is going to be 100 miles an hour. So this is what I'm going to set here. Yeah, and I guess now I will again use time compression. There you go. Until we get a green light and get out of here. Okay, this guy goes on the track before us. This was a first generation train, easily recognizable by the dining car with the hump. Okay, so we have a green light. Oh, we have ZS6 Kennziffer 8, so this one tells us we actually limited to 80 kilometers an hour. Alright, so we are going to close the doors, set the top speed for 80, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and here we go. Oh, and I think the best thing about Zusi is the sound. Okay, here we go. So I put on a little bit of traction. Now we want to make sure that we break free of the brakes. All brakes are open. Yep, that looks good. Okay, we have to. Okay, that blinking here, that told us that the safety system that supervises our that we actually pay attention to the signals is activated now, and I acknowledge that white light here. Yep, yeah. That white light here tells me that I have to push a button to tell the train I'm still alive. So 60 kilometers an hour now. Our top was 80, but we cleared the switch, and I guess now we can accelerate to 120 as we cleared that switch. So 10 F12. Oh, I haven't actually turned on the cruise control. Let's see. Nullstellenzwang. Let's see. I need to bring this back. Then turn it on. Alright, and back on. There you go, that's better. Alright, bring it up to 120 kilometers an hour. Oh no, we have cleared the last switch. We can speed up to 160. Look at that, 100 miles an hour. 30, 40, 50, 60. There you go. So now we're speeding up to the fastest speed we can go on light signals. So we have a VR0. Okay, so this one tells me I can still go. 2 green lights, that looks good. And now we're going to switch over to LCB. There's this wire that you see in between the tracks. This is a a radio connection to some central processing unit. There you go, now we're connected, and that tells us I can speed up to 280 kilometers an hour. So let's see, we can do that. Full speed ahead. So now that we are connected to this, this tells me right now I can go 280. I have to expect 250 kilometers top speed in 4,200 meters. So I'm never going to make it up to 280 kilometers an hour, because right now we are driving, it's going upwards. That's what this little squiggly line here tells us, that right now we are in a section where we are climbing. Yeah, let's see. So, to every... yeah, some people are wondering what the hell is going on. Yep, no, not explained tonight. Definitely not explained. So, 200 kilometers an hour. That is about as fast as I go on the Autobahn. And the sound is pretty realistic, because the third generation intercity train has seating like right behind the driver's cab, so you can sit only a couple of meters behind the driver, look out on the front, and get exactly the same sound. And I think the sound simulation on this one is really good. So now we have 250 max, 250 expected, and the track is all the way clear up to 9,800 meters in front. So we are actually barreling down the major north-south connection in Germany now. So this train would, I guess, come from Hanover, or maybe even further north from Hamburg, and it's now on the major connection to the south, and our next stop will be Kassel. So we're coming up to 250 kilometers an hour, and also we have reached the highest point of this track. So from now on it's going to go downhill anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the... actually shut off the engine now. And from here on, I guess gravity will do the rest. Oh, by the way, those little orange ticks you see on the right, so this is a sign that tells you at which kilometer of the track you are right now, and the little orange line on top and on the bottom tells you that you have to turn on Notbremsüberbrückung. So what that does is, because there's just tunnels in this area, whenever you see the orange stripe, you turn off the connection of the emergency brake to the actual brakes. So if someone back in the passenger car now pulls the emergency brake, it does not actually take the air out of the brake system. It only gives me a signal here in the driver's cab that there's something's going on, wrong, and I should stop the train, but not in a tunnel. I should stop the train outside the tunnel, and that's why this this disconnect between the emergency brake handle and the actual brake happens. And, I'm not sure if this is actually in the simulator here. If there's a switch you use to do that. No idea. All right, we got a new expected speed. Slow down to 210 in 9 kilometers. Still 9 kilometers to go. So not much to do here. All right, this part we're coming up. We are actually going to parallel the Autobahn now. If you look out to the left, I think there's the bridge. Yep, exactly. Yep, yeah, okay, I know this bridge. That on the left is the Autobahn, and you have no chance driving on this on this autobahn to keep up with the train, because the train can go up to 300 kilometers per hour here, and yeah, you're not making that in a car. So next, expected to slow down to 0 in 9.0 kilometers. Look at that. Okay. So, but since I've turned off the motor already, like several kilometers ago, we're just getting slowly oh, by the way, in the tunnel I could probably turn this off to night mode. Ah, look at that. So 4 kilometers to go, and we no longer need to stop. It has gone back up to 210. Okay. Look at that. Alright, I should maybe engage some recuperative braking. Oh, shoo! That was another first generation train with the humped dining car going north. Okay, E-Melder, so the red light tells us it's really time to slow down now for the 210 expected. I have the brakes in, actually some air braking already. Okay. Alright, that's good. Okay, and now my allowed speed is coming down. Yeah, 1 kilometer to go, then the max speed is 210. 9. Alright, max speed 210 set. Expect 180 in 3 kilometers, so I'll just leave the brakes in and keep reducing my speed. Top speed 180 set. Brakes open. Yep. Next top speed 160 in 1.5 kilometers. Oh, this is actually automatic braking. I'm not braking. This is the AFB braking. Alright. It's not something you usually want because that thing is quite aggressive. So normally you want to be in manual braking for that. Stop in 5 kilometers. Oh, no, just turned from a stop back to 130. Okay, so that, I guess that means we have a train in front of us that just cleared some sector. Alright, oh, I know where this is. Okay, we're coming out of this tunnel here and now it goes uphill. To be a little more power here. And you will actually notice this train will speed up as more and more cars come over the hump or the top and start pushing the train down. So yeah, it actually works quite well. And after this tunnel it goes uphill again. That was the wrong button. Didn't mean to do that. Alright, pretty soon we'll drop out of the fast train security system and drop back to signals. And I hope I know the procedure to do this. Let's see. Alright, expect to stop in 2 kilometers. Oh, yeah, the light signal shows expect stop, but I'm still on electronic control, so I don't actually need to pay attention to the light signal. Expect to stop in about 1 kilometer. So better start slowing down, huh? Oh, nope, that just went back up to 2 kilometers. Alright. Brakes off. Brought the top speed back to 100, or actually it'll be 110 here. Still light signal telling me to expect to stop, but I'm still under line control, so nothing to be done here. Just expect to stop 1.2 kilometers. For dropping out of line control, I probably want the cruise control off. There you go. Oh, looks like we are actually going to stop here and before we enter the station. Look at that. That was unexpected. What did that do? We're now going the other way. Says Kopf machen here, but not until we're inside the station. I think I just discovered a bug in the Fahrplan, because it is not supposed to change direction until we are inside the station. Look at that. I guess that triggered too early. Okay, I wonder what happens next. That was not good. That's better. think I need to advance this because we never got there. Also Bremshöhe Kopf machen, ja. Und dann, aber dann sind wir auf dem falschen Gleis. I don't think this is going to work. I think we just discovered a bug in the simulator. Look at that. It stopped me before the station and then changed direction because I stopped, but I wasn't inside the station yet. Look at that. Alright, okay, I'm just going to stop everything here and call the Notfallmanager. Alright, yeah, that didn't go quite as well as I expected, but as I said, I am not in any way, shape or form certified to drive a train, so that wasn't too bad, I guess. And to answer the question from the chat, no, this is not XP11. I was just driving exactly Zusi, yeah, the one and only and best train simulator. Zusi version 3. So apart from the change direction bug that we just had, pretty impressive software. And I gave a little bit of an introduction to it at the beginning of the stream, kind of comparing its history to X-Plane, because it started as a one man in his basement riding his own train simulator, kind of like X-Plane started 20 years ago as a one-man show, Austin riding his own flight simulator. And in some ways it really is comparable to X-Plane in that it first got the basics of the physics right, and then started adding graphics in version 3 here. Yeah, so I guess this was a one-off thing. I don't use that, of course, as extensively as I use X-Plane. But as I said, today I did so much real flying already today, and the weather got kind of nasty, so I thought it was time to yeah, do something different and take a break from flying, since I've done some real world instruction today. Alright, so I guess the next stream, the next video will be about an aviation topic again. Yeah, but so much for flight instructor driving a train. I hope I didn't make too many mistakes. And no, I will not be driving Euro Truck Sim next, because I don't have the program. I don't have Euro Truck Sim, and I ridiculously suck at all driving games. I am completely rubbish at driving games, whether it's truck driving or car driving or race car driving. I'm not even a very good driver myself in real life. My wife is clearly the better driver between the two of us. The only thing I can do is parallel park, and that's about it. And as long as there's no like a Euro Truck parallel park simulator, as long as that's not there, I'm not going to do it. All right, so Philip driving a train. That experiment ends here. Good night.